Hello and welcome to another edition of Droppin Baums with me, your host, Baumeister. As always, brought to you by the lovely folks over at StarCityGames.com. Okay, so this deck is just unbelievable. I took this original list from, let me get the name right, Robert Litfin, who took down a tournament in Madison last weekend, and this deck just impressed me. I tried it on Versus Live on Tuesday, and just really impressed. It's doing some insanely powerful things. You have a lot of draws where you go 1-drop into Winding Constrictor, and basically you have a lot of draws where you have 5 power in play on turn 2, and then if you ever have any kind of follow-up, it's just insane. You're going bonkers. So the main thing I always say is if you can go 1, 2, 3 with this deck, there will need disruption or they're dead. They're dead. They'd be just dead on turn 4 such a high percentage of the time. So that just beats a large subset of the Pioneer metagame. And of course, the world is changing up as far as Pioneer. We just had bans. Felidar Guardian, Leyline of Abundance, and Nissa, Oath of Nissa. So this is with all this in effect. So you know what? The world is kind of reborn again. And who knows? This deck might not be great next week, but you best believe this deck is good this week. Make sure to check out the games. We have some fun ones. Fast forward to any of the games if you feel with the link below, as well as head to the deck tech. I do give away spoilers though, so if you want to watch the games and see how they unfold naturally, do that first, and then we talk more in depth about every single card choice over at the deck tech at the end. I hope you enjoy the matches. See you there. All right, and welcome to round 1 with Golgari Hardened Scales here. Super hyped to play these games. So we're gonna go first. Okay, we do have Once Upon a Time to try to find the second land that we really need, as well as a pretty good hand. I don't know exactly what we're going to lead on, but we're definitely going to keep. We're definitely going to keep here, and we'll see how this works out. So we're going to start with Once Upon a Time. Really want to land almost no matter what. Okay, so Cemetery seems like the pick. So we're going to go like this. Now we're going to take 2. And now I think it's more damage if we just go Experimental 1 first. Turn 2, we can go Hardened Scales plus Serpent for a 2-2. And then this would evolve to a 3-3. Okay, that seems quite strong. So we'll start with the Experimental 1. Pass the turn. What do we got? Is it Phoenix? Pretty strong play. Pretty strong play. Another Cemetery here leads me to want to get to the board. And with that being the case, I think I still want to get this, even though they could just have like more Magma Sprays. Could also play it slow and steady, but I'd really like to have a good Rishkar turn. So we're going to play this. It's a little aggressive. Hitting our Experimental 1 is brutal. All right, let's see what they can do. Thing in the Ice or whatever is still quite strong, but we could have 2 4/4s next turn and then have a Ballista for the kind of final blow. Shall see. I think matchups like Is It Phoenix could be pretty tough. They do just have a ton of red early spot removal. But they really have to have it. They can't just be, you know, dirtling around with card draw and stuff like that. All right, we'll say go. We got Thing in the Ice, Harnessed Lightning. Ouch. Okay, there's a Nissa. That is actually quite strong right now. It's a nice curve out here. We can make some plants and then start doing some damage. Our opponent's on just blue-red, kill all our stuff. And this is quite good against that strategy. Okay. All right, the marsh isn't great. So here I kind of want to just make another plant, make a walking ballista, and just be on my way. Or I can go Rishkar on both plants. I kind of like that. Let's try that. And then I can just do a Ballista for 2, which will be for 3 next turn. Rishkar. What is this, blue-red control? That's no fun for what the gameplay we're trying to play. That'd be like our worst matchup. Just removal spells. Plus counter magic. Yikes. But Nissa is quite good, so we'll definitely be relying on the power of this Planeswalker. Let's try for the Ballista. Ballista for 2. Okay. Now let's go. Let's try to make some giant creatures. Blink of an eye. Okay. Not that big of a deal. Good, of course, but we still get some value here. And we still got a big Ballista they got to deal with, as well as the Nissa. I think the Nissa is the biggest threat for him right now. Something like Glorybringer would have been really good. I do not know what our opponent is playing, so. All right. We will say ping. 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 And ping. That's dead. Now. Next turn, let's see what our options are. So we're going to start with Once Upon a Time. No matter what, we're going to have free mana to do this. Now, actually, let's start with Hardened Scales. Because we'll have 3 mana open for a Mystical Dispute, it seems like they F6'd. So we're going to play Once Upon a Time, dig for some gas. Walking Ballista seems great. Going to go with a Ballista. We are going to put counters on things, and oh my god, our battlefield is all of a sudden gigantic. Wow. Okay, take 6. Your turn. Now Nissa will be out of commission from doing anything too powerful for a while, but it already made 6 power with the plants and put, you know, 4 counters on Walking Ballista. That's pretty tough for our opponent to deal with. Boom. A deck that I just said would probably be super bad for us, and we just still won. I think this deck is insane. I actually think this deck is busted. Okay, so blue-red. Now, Veil's interesting because, well, if you can ever counter a counter spell with Veil of Summer, it is insane. It is absolutely busted, but it does not counter the red removal, and that is not busted. So now, Hangerback Walker, I really like in this matchup because if you put it out of range from Magma Spray, it's gonna get some good value. Serpent's okay, I just think it's a powerful card. God, I almost don't want to sideboard. Could bring in, like, Thoughtseize is the only thing I'm considering, but I almost just want to have more threats. Like, Veil doesn't seem good enough to me. I don't want a situational card when it makes my deck worse. So, God, until we get a better idea of exactly what we're playing against, I think I just want to submit back here. Yeah. Seems weird to not want to sideboard anything, but this deck doesn't sideboard a lot. You got to keep the integrity of the deck intact so that you can truly have your busted draws. And you know what? This draw is good. We don't have a Hardened Scales, but it's still quite strong. So we'll see how we can do without the Hardened Scales to start. Scales. Once Upon a Time can't get Hardened Scales, unfortunately. That would just be insane. Okay, but Winding Constrictor here is awesome. It's essentially a Hardened Scales. So we're going to go Pelt Collector. Like, look at these draws. Anytime you can go 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop, it's almost always insane. So, like, Pelt Collector into Winding Constrictor into Rishkar or Nissa, broken. Okay. So they know about Winding Constrictor, so they definitely might have a solid plan against it, but I still think it's worth getting down. Oh, yeah. 2 counters. Wow. This deck just might be insane. This deck might just be busted. Ooh, that was pretty good. That was pretty strong. Okay, well, I mean, we're going to do what we took over the game with last game and just start making some plants. They got a good turn out of us, but that's okay. Now we rebuild with plants. All right, we'll say go. What are they doing here? Sahili. Don't think we care about that. Land? Land would be busted. Oh, wrong land. I should have specified. Should have specified. Now I don't know what I actually want to do here. I could go Rishkar. Pump the two things. Seems okay, but not great. Could just make a plant and make a hanger back, and that's the most conservative play. And then we're just setting up for a really big turn next turn. Makes us vulnerable again to another anger, but I think I'm okay with that. If this was an untapped land, we were definitely going Winding Constrictor, hanger back, put counters on him. Good luck. But since that's not the case, we're going to play this slow and steady. Hanger back for 1. Might get Magma Sprayed. Plant. Set up for a big turn next turn. Not great, of course, but okay. Just a blue-red spells deck. Seems pretty hard to keep up with what we're doing. Right away, I thought this would be a really bad matchup for us, but it just seems hard to contain all this value. Like, Nissa just seems like the all-star here. So sorry I kind of changed from game 1 to this, but, you know, new format. Everything's so new. Okay. Now let's do this. All right, so we're going to go with Winding Constrictor. We might not even play Rishkar here. I don't really want to put all my eggs in one basket. I think I'm just going to activate, see what they do. Now let's try this. All right. Now let's just attack Sahili with our plants. Okay. We're just going to say go. Yeah, we're just going to once upon a time and put another counter on hanger back. Just doesn't seem like they have a chance. Counter. Once upon a time. We'll get experimental one just because of the regeneration ability. Now we're gonna play this. You know what? Let's go all in. Why not? I just don't see what they can do. Besides just like Cryptic Command lock us or... Okay, we're gonna put this on the plants. And we're gonna put counters on everything. We're gonna come in. Our opponent's just like, yeah, I'm playing red base removal that's gonna deal 3 damage. You have a 7/7, a 6/7, a 5/5 that can regenerate, a 4/4, and 2 6/7 plants. 13, 18, 22, 34 power in play right now. No big deal. No big deal. Deck's fine. Deck's fine. Stay tuned for our second round. Let's hope to do this again to another opponent. And welcome to round 2 with green-black hardened scales here. We won the die roll and we're playing against quite the nice player. Nice in personality, and nice as in he is just one hell of a player. Adam Snook, played him at a winning in at a GP before, as well as plenty of other times. All around good player, so this should be a good match. We're gonna go first. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, this hand is nice. Now the real question is, what do we lead on? And I don't know. All right, so we are going to start with I'm a little torn here. I mean, if they have Thoughtseize, I'm going to feel real bad if I don't play Hardened Scales. So it's within Adam's range for anything here, so. All right. Ironically, I played against Adam at a winning in when I won with Felidar Guardian. And he was playing green-black Winding Constrictor. So this is just fitting. Ooh, is this a Thoughtseize too? Oh, we did it! We did it! We did it. I wonder what's most threatening for them. I'm guessing he'll not take Pelt Collector. That's the only thing I'm sure of. Hangerback if it's more of a grindy matchup, because Hangerback plus Hardened Scales is so hard to deal with, but this is great. Walking Ballista is also quite good. What do we got? Okay, another Walking Ballista. So we're just going to play a Hangerback here, start getting that value going. Not 100% positive on this, but if we can get a land, we can go Pelt Collector plus Walking Ballista. Or if we don't get a land, we might just level and play a Pelt Collector. Urborg, okay. Once Upon a Time. I kind of like that just to get another land and go play a Pelt Collector, but also a little bad. Maybe we just want to play Pelt Collector and level up. Let's do that. Let's play it nice and slow. This mono black deck probably has a decently tough time against Hangerback Walker. Can't think of any effective way to deal with it, so at some point it's going to make a lot of creatures, and at some point it's going to win the game. Now, Adam might attack now. We're forced to probably block, make creatures, and then in response could Fatal Push it. We'd get a couple counters on this, as well as, sorry, I lost my train of thought, as well as get a couple of Thopters here. So I don't know how this matchup's supposed to go, but I think this is an important one, because I do think this mono black deck is going to be good post-ban. And, you know, of course, that is the world we're living in now. So, you know, these are two of the decks that I'm considering for the Invitational next week, so who knows? Once Upon a Time obviously was a horrendous draw. Anytime we draw this card late game after we played a spell, it's so bad. Makes me think I want less in this deck, but we'll see. Like, I can see 3 just being correct. Who knows? Okay. Yeah, at this point, I don't even know if I want to block. Getting 4 1/1s is awesome. And this does get bigger. We're going to block. This value is already so good. I could have the Fatal Push here. Okay. Yeah, this is still 4/4, right? Yeah. I think that might have been a screw up. I told him, I was like, yep, you may be on camera, so don't screw up. And he was like, well, there goes the dream of not messing up. That's too funny. All right, well, here comes the tokens. Yeah, that was a bit of a nice little 2-for-1 we got there. All right, so that does not trigger. All right, well, now we could go another Pelt Collector or just Walking Ballista. Walking Ballista for 1 makes it for 2. I kind of want to land, but I kind of also just don't care that much. I think we're going to begin with attacking. This can't grow with anything we do. Okay. Now, I think we're just going to get a Walking Ballista going. Not in love with it, but And we'll say go. Pellet Collector, not a great draw either, but what can you do? That was pretty funny. Me and Adam are buds, so I joked around with them right away. Just be like, all right, just so you know, this is a recording for a video, so, you know, don't screw up. He was like, well, there goes the dream. All right, back to the game. I'm still somewhat afraid of, like, Sorin, downtick, bring in a Champion of Dusk. That's still very strong, but yeah, that's not going to be good enough. And we got some sideboard cards this time, so Veil, I think, is going to be pretty sweet. Abrupt Decay is probably okay. When bringing in this many spells, I don't think I like Once Upon a Time. Hangerback's really good. Serpent actually is not good. I mean, it doesn't have protection from anything. It just gets Fatal Push, so we actually don't want that. Now, we want to keep 2 cards in. We could keep in 2 Serpents, or we could keep in 2 Once Upon a Time. I think I like that more. I don't really like Pulse. This is basically just for hyper-aggressive red decks in theory. We could bring in a couple Thoughtseize on the draw, but I don't like that either. We're just going to have 2 Once Upon a Time. I think this is fine. You know, we just want to minimize how good Fatal Push is against us, and don't get me wrong, it's just going to be good. But now we can actually kill some stuff. We can protect our stuff. I like it. Okay. This hand is too bad. A second land and it would be a keeper, but we can't really do it here. This hand's worse. Down to 5. Okay, I guess we'll keep. Let's get rid of this cemetery, I think. I kind of just want to get rid of a Pellet Collector and just try to harden Scales. Yeah, just hope the hardened Scales is just busted enough. Pellet Collector does not work too well with this hand. Okay. Not bad. We'll go with the hardened Scales. It's going to be pretty good. And that'll definitely dictate what we play next turn. Yeah, mulling to 5 here is not great. Believe it or not. There goes our Ballista. Ooh, and there goes our Nissa. Ouch. Okay. We do have Abrupt Decays, but that's really good. We're going to play that now. We'll harden Scales next turn. It's quite strong. If they don't kill it directly now, if Adam doesn't kill this like right now, the value on this Hangerback Walker is going to be through the roof. But if Adam does kill it, we only get 2 1/1s. He can attack for the turn, but overall, it's not going to do that much. Now, the reason I played this before Hardened Scales is sure, we would gain 1 extra card if we had another scale, or 1 extra counter if we had Scales in play, but now next turn we can go Scales plus put a counter on it, and now we're putting 3 counters on at a time. That's good. And honestly, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we're only gaining 1 counter by playing the Scales first. Interesting. Didn't attack. I don't think I would have blocked. Okay. Makes sense. Abrupt Decay. I think I just really like getting Needle off the board here. And just hoping to draw Nissa. We're going to do that. We'll see. Maybe if Adam goes attack and just pumps Knight, maybe that's time to just say, okay, whatever. Abrupt Decay, your only threat. But I really do think just getting Nissa on board and online would just be insane. Now, Adam knows we didn't play Hardened Scales here, so it feels pretty bad to just pump. Could have drawn a Fatal Push, whatever, you know? All right, so we'll take care of this. Land? Ooh, that was good. All right, now I want to attack with 1 and leave 1 back. Because now I want to make a plant and do some pumping next turn. Our draws have been pretty fortunate, I have to say. Now we are afraid of like push, pump, kill Nissa. Or just Noxious Grass, that's pretty strong too. Didn't activate Castle Locked-Wind though, so that's not bad. Now we just want one of our X spells. Ballista or Hanger Back off the top would be awesome. Yeah, we're gonna take this. You can pump. Not even wanting to deal with Castle Locked-Wind. I think that's interesting. Maybe it's correct. But I think I'd be wanting to gain cards from Adam's side. Just so when I start to draw creatures that matter, Adam would have a nice defense. But, you know, the clock is important as well. Okay. All right, so now we'll attack. Leave back the plant, of course, because it doesn't pay. Say go. Now we really want something to interact with these hardened scales. Nissa, Rishkar, any of that shenanigans. This might be the time to block with a plant, though. Seems like a good blocking turn. Doesn't get an additional counter. Okay. Or spell. That's not good. We kind of just want to be using this to cycle anything. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, we'll just say go. Not feeling good now, but look at all this disruption. Veil would have been really good before, but yeah, it's not at its strength right now. Could try to kill the Mutavault. But I kind of want Adam to play something. So I want his mana to be available just so I can cycle this Veil. Didn't even play anything. Not great. All right, well, we were drawing pretty well out of this, but our draws have not been great since. All right, not many play interactions that we've had or any real thought about it. We've just been playing what we draw, but this game's probably not going to go our way. I don't actually think there's a draw that can get us out of this. Maybe a Walking Ballista that equals 4, but that doesn't feel good enough with this knight. Well, in hindsight, I wish I would have Abrupt Decayed this instead of the Pithing Needle. But yeah, we're dead. All right, we'll be going to a game 3. We did mold a 5 that game. Now, are any of these cards just bad? Like Abrupt Decay seems okay, but I think I'd rather just be doing my thing on the play. And with that being the case, you know what? Let's do one Once Upon a Time and a couple of these Serpents. I still like Veil because it can really be nice, but maybe it isn't even that good. I don't know. It's mono black, so you just think it has to be good, but it's not necessarily true. We'll see. We'll try this. We're going to keep, just off the power of Hangerback Walker and Rishkars here. Hopefully get another land off Once Upon a Time. Kind of leads me to not actually want to Once Upon a Time right away, because I might get a land. You know, I just do not want to get a 1-drop no matter what, so we're just going to say go. Maybe we're representing Veil here, and our opponent, like, doesn't turn 1 Thoughtseize us. Our hand is kind of Thoughtseize proof, though, is the only thing. Land? Ugh. All right, without paying cost. Okay, that's great. Almost missed. All right, so let's just get Hangerbacks going. No scales or anything to go off here, but we're just going to try to trump with hanger back walkers here. Hope they don't have like Legion's End. Legion's End would be insane. That'd be a good sideboard card for that deck. Fatal Push, okay. Now, if we get a land, I think we still jam Rishkar here. Ooh, I kind of like this. How about Rishkar and Pelt Collector? Yeah, we like that. We like that. Put down a decent amount of power this turn. We still don't have the scales, but, you know, still good value creatures on their own. We're not afraid of this Knight of the Ebon Legion yet. And now we just want to, like, make huge hangerback walkers. Just really use our mana to make giant creatures. And hope it's good enough. Now, I'm hoping Rishkar gets a removal spell aimed at it, which I think it will. But you never truly know. That's why 2 Rishkars is kind of decent still. Just because it's so... You have to kill it on sight most of the time. All right. Adam's deep in the tank. 4 cards, probably can cast, you know, most things. Yeah, no. We would love a pump. Pump? Okay. That'd be awesome. Gotta have a target. Makes sense. Ooh. Let's go. Let us go. All right, well, we can go Hardened Scales and Serpent for 3, which pumps this, and then Hanger back later. I kind of like that. Just try to maximize our clock right now. Yeah, that gets 2 counters. Oh my god. All right, no Fatal Push. Hell yeah. Your turn. Now Rishkar does silly things with Hardened Scales. All right, like a Kalitas or something, and I would be quite scared still. Sorin. Questioning if I'm scared of that yet. Champion of Dusk is good, but our creatures are just going to be bigger. Death Touch Lifelink, okay. It's not Death Touch Lifelink until the end. It's just for this turn, so I think we're okay with that. Now... Okay, I think we're going to do Rishkar number 2. Now, which ones do we want? I don't think we care to pump the Rishkar. I think we're going to go here and here. All right, no Fatal Push, because Fatal Push would have wanted to be played there. So we're going to attack just in the way that maximizes damage. So we could attack Adam for 13, but I'd rather pressure the Planeswalker. Now I'm going to have to choose between keeping the Knight or Sorin. And we don't care about a Sorin at 2, since this Serpent does trample. So the Serpent is attacking Sorin for lethal. And now, to save it, Knight has to jump in front, and then Sorin still goes down to 3. So I'd have to lose it to go -3 to put in a Vampire. Plus, the other abilities are worse without Vampires. And yeah, that's going to be the game. So, oh, he won't be able to say goodbye? Oh. All right, well, doesn't matter. Anyways, close games, but you know what? When we were on the play, these draws felt untouchable. They really did, I have to say. So I'm in love with this deck. I really hope you all are enjoying it as well. I'm just in love with Pioneer as well. Last week we went 3-0, 6-0 with Band Company. This week it's starting off good. We're just 5-0 on Droppin Bombs. Like, what's better? Stay tuned for our 3rd and final round with this week's Droppin Bombs. All right, and we're back with our 3rd and final round here with Golgari Scales. And all right, this hand is reasonable. Nothing insane, but we do have the experimental one into Winding Constrictor, which is putting 5 power on turn 2, plus a Once Upon a Time to find a nice follow-up. We're going to keep. We have what I've been trying to say before is we have a nice 1, 2, 3. And whenever you have a nice 1, 2, 3, you know, I just think the deck is busted. So we'll see if it works out that way. And now that's all considering without disruption. Okay, so green red devotion maybe. Still possible. I know we got a card banned, but it's not like the deck is dead or anything. All right, so Pelt Collector plus a Serpent. So it's either Pelt Collector or Serpent for me. I'm kind of thinking Serpent since we already have a 1-drop. Yeah, let's do that. Now let's go experiment 1. Pass to you. All right, looks like here comes a Shaman. How many of them? It's pretty strong. Probably have to hold back this experiment 1 on defense. Okay, but if we can keep these cards alive, we can definitely gain control here. So we're just gonna say go. And we got 2 blockers for this Legion War Boss. They'd have to deal with both of them. This is a good draw by our opponent. We're on the draw, and they went turn 2 Legion War Boss plus another creature. So this is not going to be trivial by any means, but we got a good defense against it. Let's see, is this going to be a jam with everything kind of thing? Yep. Okay. I kind of foresee an Embercleave coming down. So we want to try to kill some of the biggest things, like make 2 blocks, because one of them is going to be bad and one of them is going to be good. We would rather their War Boss die than their Burning Tree, and they would rather my Constrictor die over my Experiment 1. So we're going to go like this. No Embercleave? That makes sense. That makes sense. Tarkus Command. I was playing around Embercleave. If I wanted to play around that, I would have blocked a 1/1 with this. That would have been much better. But we'll have to let that slide. Yeah, it was pretty good. Okay. Well, that's not bad. All right, so we're going to go like this. And then just play a 2/2 Serpent. And hope this can stabilize. So this is going to evolve. Now we got just 2 2/2s. But one of them has protection from Burning Trees. So the only thing that's really going to kill something is this 2/2 Goblin. Yeah. So, I mean, if I was trying to play around a Tarkus Command, I for sure made the wrong block. Because then I just block a Llanowar with this, and a Tarkus Command is not even that big of a deal. But like I said, I was playing around Embercleave, played around the wrong card. They easily could have conceivably had both. So it's tough. You know, it's tough to play around which option here. But all right, now it seems like we've stabilized somewhat. All right. So now we can go Walking Ballista for 2, reasonable. We can go Hangerback for 2, also reasonable. We could go Rishkar. Also very good. Think I would rather get a Walking Ballista down. Maybe not. Hangerback seems really good too, and then I can like start putting counters on it. Now I think we're gonna do Ballista because I would like to Rishkar and put a counter on Ballista. All right, so we'll go Ballista, say go. And now that they have a Tarkus Command number 2, then at least we could like pick off some creatures in response. We're just trying not to die here. It's pretty good. Okay, the 4/3 is going to be annoying. Looks like that's their plan. Just play that, say go. Makes sense. They can get a little busy now. Yeah, this is a problem. think we just have to soak up one of them. Take 2. So what if we go Hangerback Walker plus Rishkar on these 2 creatures? Yeah, that seems good to me. I think that's just what we have to do. We're getting a little too low. Any good top deck off the top and we're just dead, so. I'm gonna instead do this. And now we're just gonna start just putting counters on things. So definite counter here. Yeah, we just gotta do counters here. It sucks because Rishkar will not be able to produce mana now if we were to stabilize, but I just don't think it matters right now. I think we have to just be controlling the board. Yeah, and here is a pretty smart attack because we just have to block. We can't take 4. So we're gonna block here. Yeah, target of a spell, that's what I thought, okay. So we'll get a couple of creatures and we'll be able to ping it. All right, we'll kill this. Wow, okay. So we're going to add a green. And now we're actually gonna start killing things. All right, so we're gonna start with a lawnmower or an Elvish Mystic. And I think that's it for now. And I don't even want to attack quite yet. Next turn we're gonna attack if we get to untap with anything crazy going on. A Tarka Gruul is scary. We gotta start the clock going here because eventually they will just draw to a Tarka's command. And then boom, we're dead. We have no life gain. So we gotta try to close this out. Now, beginning of combat, just in case they have Embercleave, I still do nothing because in response to their attacks, I will just be able to block, or I will just be able to kill whatever creature. So, all right, let's try it. We're gonna block everything. Okay, well, we can respond to this to fizzle this because it's gonna die anyways, but then they won't get this creature. So what we're gonna do here is boom, boom, and we're gonna kill something that would block a Thopter. And now this will fizzle, the trades will happen, and no cards left in hand. They can't play the adventure creature because it was fizzled. So now we just start our aggression, put a counter on this, and this should be pretty aggressive. And we're not really afraid of any haste creature too much right now. Once upon a time. So 6, 7, 8, 9. No, we don't have lethal next turn yet, so we definitely just want to do anything to keep a creature off the board while still progressing some damage here. It's pretty good. We're just going to attack here. We're going to leave Ballista back. Now we're going to say go. To the face. Just going for an Atarka's command. Makes sense. Atarka's command and they just win. All right, so right now we're going to pump once. Oh, this would be a frustrating loss. Yeah. Okay, well, they know we have nothing, so if they had it, they would have just played it, I would like to think. All right, put a 1/1 counter on this. Okay. This is a net positive. Counters. Put a counter. Boom. Yeah, then we were going to go shoot, shoot, shoot to the giant. Attack for a total of 8. Shoot for more 3. We had 11 damage there. That was spicy. Okay. So, anything we want to change? You know, I think these kind of decks we should be good against. Maybe I want some Abrupt Decays here. This is a deck where I do not feel bad not sideboarding. These are only you only want to sideboard for matches that are bad. Like, I think red is bad. Scavenging Ooze is good against graveyard decks, but I don't even think that's necessary. Abrupt Decay could be good. Which could be. Thoughtseize does not seem good. Veil is not good. So the only consideration is Abrupt Decay. And I kind of like a few on the draw. Don't really have time to cast Once Upon a Time, so I'm going to take a couple of them out. As well as, what's the worst X spell? Gotta be Serpent. A lot of mono-colored stuff that deals with this, so take out that. We'll leave in all our Hanger Dads and our Walking Ballistas, and we'll call it a day. And we will call it a day. All right. I want the 3-0. I want the 3-0 dropping bombs here. Okay, this sounds sweet. This would have been a second Once Upon a Time. So great sideboarding. All right, let's see what they got, though. Their deck can easily be super fast. Okay. Serpent here feels really good at just leveling up our pelt collectors. So we're going to do that. Now we're just going to go land go. Very likely to just Abrupt Decay something next turn, especially if they go like a Legion War Boss here. Okay, love that. That's the worst top deck in their deck, I imagine. Okay, another Mystic. Rishkar. With Rishkar coming down, I think I just want to get a Ballista going. All right, yeah, no Hardened Scales or Ballista or a Winding Constrictor to make this great. But it's still okay, and it's excellent with our 3-drops. We still need a land, but we still got things to do. But a land off the top would be great. Either of these 3-drops would be awesome. Leaning on Rishkar. Shaman. Here they go. Leaves a red open, though. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. All right, I like Hardened Scale and just Stone Serpent here. And then next turn we just go off. It's only a 2-2. But this will trigger Pelt Collector. All right. Do we want to attack? Nah. Just defense. God, that's insane. Yeah, then what can they do? What can they do? This deck is just insane. Oh my God. Yeah, just a nice clean 3-0 here. Well, I'll be excited to finish this league because I think this deck is the real deal. And you best believe I'm considering this for the Invitational. And so should you. For real. I mean, I had 3 matches in. We played it on Versus Live Tuesday. We were impressed there, so I really wanted to cover this deck a little bit more in detail, and I'm glad I did because I will be looking forward to this. Now let's head to the deck tech, and let's talk about these individual card choices because there is some changes I want to suggest here from my list of green-black Constrictor here, so we'll see you over there. All right, and welcome to the deck tech, everyone. We're here with Golgari Scales. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I love these kind of decks. You know, I'm just a big fan of Winding Constrictor. I always have since it was good and standard for that short amount of time before everyone realized Temur Energy was just way better. I've loved Walking Ballista, Hardened Scales decks. In Modern, I think the deck's awesome. I've enjoyed playing them. So everything about this deck I love. So let's talk about some of the card choices here. As far as the mana base, 22 lands, you get a great mana base. Overgrown Tomb, Cemetery, Llanowar Waste, and Blooming Marsh. Your mana base is essentially perfect. I mean, you're only playing 1 black card and some black cards in the sideboard, so you don't need all this, but it helps to always be able to cast your Winding Constrictor on 2. Now let's get to the heart of the deck. Well, the heart of the deck is definitely Hardened Scales. That's what this deck revolves around, and we essentially have 8 of these Hardened Scale effects. Hardened Scales and Winding Constrictor both do the same thing, but really just very powerful effects that work with the rest of your deck. And then the thing I like about this deck is it's just much faster than the original, like Steel Overseer, Hardened Scales, focusing on artifact stuff. Like, I didn't like that. I really didn't like that at all. But I love Experimental One and Pelt Collector because either one of those cards followed up by a Winding Constrictor, boom, you have a 1-mana 3/3. Just right away. And that's without any additional help that we have for it. So I'm a big fan. Then we got 4 Once Upon a Time to really help with those draws. You know, if you have a hand without 1-drops, trying to get one of these 1-drops to follow up is excellent. Or getting one of your very powerful cards late game like Walking Ballista, Hangerback Walker, or Stonekill Serpent is equally awesome. I can see going down to 3 Once Upon a Time and up to 3 Rishkar. That's what I think I really want to do right away, just because I think Rishkar is super good in this deck. Could also see some Vivians being played here, or maybe a Vivian. Maybe a little slow, but definitely does some things. Then we got Winding Constrictor, I touched on that. And then here is our power. Here is our power. We top out at 3. These essentially are 1, 2s, and sometimes 4-drops, all our X spells. But we really top out at 3. Nissa, Voice of Zendikar is a card that has not gotten a ton of love, but let me tell you, it's back. This is the perfect shell for it. I think it's awesome. Creating a plant that then will be getting bigger with the negative ability is a very strong effect. Then Rishkar, it's kind of a once activation of Vivian's +1, Vivian Arcbow. Of course, I'm talking about the green colorless Planeswalker that's seeing a lot of standard play. You get to just do it once, but it's a turn cheaper. Then plus that, all the creatures that have counter on them, if you're kind of holding back and being a little defensive, you can late game like add a counter to Ballista. If you have Hardened Scales, you're adding multiple counters, and it's usually pretty trivial to finish the game from there. And then we got all our X spells. They're all good in certain matchups. Stone Serpent, I think, is just probably the best out of all of them, which is kind of crazy. But Protection from Multicolor is really relevant, as well as, like, you pay 3 mana, it's a 3/3. So there's a lot of times I'll go, like, Pelt Collector on 1, turn 2 Hardened Scales, Stone Serpent, then Pelt Collector gets bigger. Now you have 5 power in play, and that's, like, one of your okay draws, you know? One of your better draws is just Pelt Collector into scale or into Constrictor, or just Scales into, maybe Pelt Collector and then Serpent, whatever. I mean, any combination of those is usually pretty strong. Hangerback Walker is best against matchups that are trying to trade resources with you. So, like, for instance, Mono Black, Sultai, Jeskai, if they're trying to focus on, like, burn spells to destroy it. Less good against, bounce spells, reflector mages, declaration and stones, and you'd side those out against those. But those matchups where there is reflector mage, deck and stone, they usually come with X1 creatures, and then boom, Walking Ballista is our all-star in those matchups. You just pick off little creatures, going turn 1 Hardened Scales, turn 2 Ballista for 1, kill a 1/1 is excellent when you're on the play up against any kind of Llanowar Elf deck. So that's the main deck. I think it's pretty airtight. I don't think you can change a lot to it, but it's awesome. Now, I made some changes from, let me get the name right, Robert Litfin? Litfin. All right, sure. Litfin, probably saying that wrong, but I made some changes from Robert's list. I didn't like Leylines. Leyline was just a card I wasn't really interested in. I think we're just faster than graveyard decks. So I don't think it's very necessary. I could be wrong. With looking at the list, things I was afraid of is mono red. So I wanted to try Pulse of Marasa. Of course, we didn't play up against it, but that's why this card's here, is for mono red. Thoughtseize for any kind of control deck trying to Wrath-a-God us, maybe trying to combo off, anything like that. Veil of Summer, counter spells, black removal. Pretty good against mono black, although you're tapping out so often, I don't know how great it is. And then 3 Abrupt Decays just for random little creatures. I really like this card when I'm on the draw. that's kind of it, you know? And one important thing about this deck is, you know, there's usually a matchup where either Serpent, Hangerback, or Walking Ballista is somewhat of a dead card or not as good. So, you know, bounce effects for Hangerback Walker. Mono Black, Serpent's not very good. Walking Ballista is not that good against decks that are trying to play fair and just destroying creatures with like, I don't know, Fatal Push control decks like Sultai-ish, stuff like that, it would be just okay against. And then maybe you want something like this. But one very important lesson about this deck is you do not want to over sideboard. This is a deck that is a clean engine. It does what it wants to do. You don't want to mess around with the cards too much because then you take away from the core of your deck and it just becomes worse. So over sideboarding is a big problem that I foresee with this deck. Now, granted, I'm going to do some more testing with this deck, but overall, I'm very impressed. Definitely my front runner for the Invitational so far, but we got plenty of work to do. We got a full week. We got a Mythic Championship coming this week, and then the real testing begins for the Invitational at StarCityGames.com. So I'll be excited to see anybody that's going to be at the Mythic Championship this weekend. Come and say hi. I love meeting all of you, and we'll see you next week for more Droppin Bombs action. See you later.